Hey y'all, I'm Paige Feldman. I'm a writer and director, and here on this YouTube channel, I'm documenting the making of my debut feature as a writer-director. It's called Back to You, and it's a contained romantic comedy about two people who were each other's first loves, though one of them is real reticent about using the word love. And they had a falling out, and then 18 years later, they come back together, are stuck in the same house in the desert together, and end up rekindling their romance and dealing with all their shit. I am in the middle of a rewrite on it, as if you've been following me, you know, and if you have been following me, you also know that this rewriting process has been full of a lot of angst and emotion. At a certain point, I cut the script down to 116 pages from 155, which is no small feat, but I wasn't sure where the passion had gone with the story, if I was even doing anything right, if it was just anything more than just a paint by numbers thing. But in recent weeks, I've started to come out of that funk, which has been so wonderful and liberating. I got some great notes from people in a rewrite clinic that I am taking part in, as well as just this past week, got some amazing notes from my writing group where they had little suggestions about how to tweak the plot to just give it that edge and elevate it even more. And so I'm in the middle of this rewrite that is suddenly feeling good to me again, and I'm feeling like I've found the soul of the story, or at least discovered that it's always been there all along. With all that being said, I feel like I'm finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel in this revision process, which I've come real far in the past few weeks. It's great, and I still have a lot of work to do, but I feel like I know it's going to be leading somewhere, and I'm not just going to be on this endless treadmill of revising until I find something that works. With the rewriting process kind of not moving on autopilot because I'm still working, but moving forward in a way that feels natural and comfortable and easy, I need to start thinking about the next steps, because finishing this script is step one in the process of making a whole film. So I need to start thinking about next steps. Luckily, I've already thought of a next step. My next step after the script is done is a proof of concept short, which, as you can see right there, I have my goal shoot date of September 1st, 2023. And since it's already April, I need to get a move on because there's less than 5 months until September 1st. Now, you may think I'm joking here, but I'm not. Because there is a ton of stuff that I have to do to get ready to shoot a short film, to go into production on a short film, and 5 months is going to go by like that. Because a proof of concept short can be many things. It can be a trailer of the film where you choose a few select scenes and just kind of go off and shoot it, put some pretty music behind it, call it a day. It can be taking a scene or two from the script and filming them, and again, calling it a day. And not that that isn't difficult, but it is much less involved than the proof of concept short that I'm talking about. When I say proof of concept short, what I'm talking about is a short film that stands on its own as a whole complete story, but can also be used as a marketing tool to garner interest in a story that is a longer version of, an extension of, or just related to, in some way, the story that people first saw and fell in love with in the short film. What that means is that I can't just, I could pull some scenes from the script, but I'd have to tie them up into a different narrative bow. I have to start writing a whole new script. I have to ideate something that's going to be a slice of Mitch and Ash's relationship such that it makes people fall in love with them, shows them falling in love with each other, and entices people to want more. Now that's a huge responsibility, and I do have a few ideas for it. One of these ideas that I have is using backstory that I created and I wrote for the initial script about Mitch and Ash's initial relationship before they broke up. And I have about 2.5 pages of that initially 15-page backstory in the script currently, but the rest of it's just sitting off to the side. But that could be an interesting way to show people who Mitch and Ash are and get some interest in maybe seeing the continuation of their love story. Option number 2 I've thought of is recreating the meet cute when Mitch and Ash see each other for the first time after 18 years in this desert house. And option number 3, which is something that someone in my writing group came up with when we discussed this the other day, is maybe even doing a music video, because music is so important to the story as a whole. Now, the music video idea I initially bumped on, but I did put some thought into it because Mitch is a songwriter And one of the catalyst moments in their relationship, Mitch and Ash's relationship, is when Mitch sings a song that she wrote for Ash to him and he rejects her. And then she rewrites the song as a breakup song. It becomes a #1 hit and it ruins his life. It estranges them further. And it's just like a general point of contention in their relationship. And so writing that song, recording that song, and filming parts of Mitch and Ash's relationship, little romantic moments, fighting moments, pieces of their backstory, and combining it together as a music video would give a sense of who they are, who their relationship is, and do it more effectively in a way than a trailer could, because we are listening to a song that's just such an integral part of the story. However, while I did consider the music video for a bit, I dismissed it fairly quickly after a couple hours of thought, because while the music video would be amazing in terms of really milking that emotion, milking that romance, and keeping costs down, because the only real sound you'd have to do would be the music itself. So I would be saving a lot on sound editing and mixing. However, the disadvantages are that a lot of the parts of my own style in terms of writing and directing, things like the rapid fire dialogue that I love, the ways that I like to build scenes and build moments and work with actors to create slow burn and feelings without words. All of those things might be lost, even though I could do some of those looks and those moment building things within a music video. The music would be doing so much of the heavy lifting that it's difficult to see what talent I can bring to it and give people a sense of what the movie is going to feel like outside of the song. Plus, music videos, while they are a great training ground for directors, I mean, the Daniels, who just won all the Oscars for Everything Everywhere All at Once, deservedly, were music video directors at first. They did the Turn Down for What video, which ended up getting them noticed and ultimately led to them being able to write and direct their movie Swiss Army Man, which then led to them getting on Everything Everywhere All at Once and being able to make that and produce that with A24. So while music videos are still a path into the industry, I don't think that the Daniels are such visual, innovative storytellers in that way. I don't think that those kinds of visuals are the things that I'm going to be remembered for. I think the moments between people, the dialogue, that sort of thing is where my strengths currently lie. So while the music video, I'm not doing it, it did bring up a great discussion with my writing group, which led me to one main conclusion, which is that the music is so important that this song that Mitch writes, the one about her romance with Ash that ends up falling apart and the way that she's able to pick herself up while telling Ash to fuck off, like that song needs to be in the proof of concept. My entire writing group agreed, and that was my instinct as well, that if this is going to be a movie where songwriting is important, then the proof of concept needs to showcase that song just as much as it needs to showcase the things that I love about the story outside of that song. So I guess I need to write a song. I took 2 semesters of songwriting when I was at USC, another 2 semesters of guitar lessons, and I've been playing viola since I was 9. So I'm not a stranger to writing songs, and I have written some okay ones. But the song that Mitch writes is a #1 hit. And so I need to find a songwriter to collaborate with to turn the first draft of the lyrics that I have into something other than just okay. So that's my next step. As I'm continuing this rewrite, as I'm continuing to ideate the perfect proof of concept short, I am looking for a songwriter to collaborate with. Ideally, a Jewish woman in her 30s who is also a songwriter. I would love someone who has an idea of what it's like to be a creative in their 30s, someone with Mitch's experience. And Jewishness is important because the script and the story is so inherently Jewish. I want to work with someone who has that vocabulary as well, who can write authentically in a voice of someone who grew up with Debbie Friedman, who values ritual, who can be Mitch in a way and can channel her in a way that feels authentic. So if you or someone you know is a kick-ass songwriter, especially if they're a Jewish woman songwriter, please hit me up. Drop a comment in the comments section or go to my website, www.paigefeldman.com, and I have a contact section there. I'll also put the link in the description, and tell me. Share some samples with me. Let me know where I can listen to some of your songs, and if it vibes with the general aesthetic, audio aesthetic that I'm going for, I'll hit you up and we can talk about collaborating together, because once this song is written, once it's set, then the adventure can really begin in earnest. Oh, and also, if you know of a good place to find a songwriter, a networking site, something like bands in town maybe, I'm not sure, let me know in the comments too, or again, you can drop me a line via my website, because this is all new for me, but that's the great part about indie film, about bootstrapping it, is that you learn so much and you find great people to connect with along the way. And I appreciate every one of you who is watching, anyone who can help me out for this video along. Yeah. So I'm gonna keep rewriting, I'm gonna start working on the song lyrics and hopefully reviewing songwriter submissions so I can find someone who is amazing at that and we can start working together, because like I said, once the song is written, then this whole journey can truly begin in earnest. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be back next week with another update on the making of Back to You here on Cake Fight Presents The Making of.